Welcome back to Mellow Labs. On today's episode, I'm solving a problem that plagues literally everybody on Earth. Let's start with a story. I was on the bus the other day, minding my own business, scrolling through the netherverse of content, searching for dopamine, when somebody let loose the biggest, smelliest fart I have ever experienced. There was no escape. This experience traumatized me so hard that I devoted an entire 6 hours of my day to coming up with the ultimate fart solution. Again. The first version of the ultimate fart solution was designed to lessen the effects of your own farts. It did also try setting itself on fire next to a flammable compressed gas cylinder. We will not be going with this approach this time. Instead, we will be focusing our efforts on preventing the smells from going into our nose in the first place. Let's begin. The solution to this problem is really quite simple. The easiest way to prevent smells from going into your nose is to simply
pinch your nose, so we must find some kind of way to automate the nose pinching.
As a base for this project, I will be using my spare pair of glasses. Let's start with the gas sensor. I figure I'm going to put that on the side here, and we'll be reusing the same one we used in the last project, which is the MQ2 methane sensor. And on the other side, I'll put my trusty D1 Mini to handle all the data and servo movements. As for actually pinching the nose, I found this servo-based RoboClaw on printables, which does a really good job of fitting around my nose. So now that we have a very detailed plan of what we need to make, let's go and make it. I started off by printing out the claw mechanism and putting it together. It was actually really simple, and after I put in the servo motor, I connected it to a servo tester just to make sure I have the gear alignment correct. I then grabbed the D1 Mini and connected the servo motor to the plus 5 volt pin, ground, and the D4 pin. For the gas sensor, I cut down 3 wires to length. One of them will be going to the ground pin on the D1 Mini, the other will be going to 3.3 volts, and finally we have the analog output pin from the gas sensor, which will be going into the A0 port on the D1 Mini. And that's actually everything we needed to do to make the electronics work together. Now we just have to mount them on the glasses. For the servo, I ended up printing out this little custom attachment that clips onto the bridge of the nose and then can be secured on with a little bit of hot glue. As for the gas sensor and the D1 Mini, I simply hot glued them onto the sides of the glasses and zip tied the wires so that they don't get in the way of my vision. And here we are. After hours of work, we finally have the first ever pair of the fart glasses. Let's try these bad boys on. Okay. I can already see some improvements I would like to make to the second revision. First of all, there are LEDs either side of my eyes, very distracting. And also, I have the field of view of a Formula 1 driver. The whole thing is of course powered off of an external battery bank. If it's good enough for the Apple Vision Pro, it's good enough for me. So if I run this over my shoulder and into my pocket, this wire here tucks away quite cleanly behind my glasses, and it's very noticeable, but if you don't think about it, it's not noticeable. So, right, let's give it a test go.
It worked! Awesome. So if I try fanning it away from the sensor,
It should open up. It works perfectly. Right, let's go test it in some real world scenarios. Let's say, for example, you're walking into a public bathroom and somebody just took a poop.
and obviously the sensor will detect that and it will trigger the protection mechanism so you never actually have to smell the poop. And on your exit from the bathroom,
It should realize that you're in clean air and open it up for you. Scenario number 2. Let's say you have to do some household tasks like taking out the bins. When I get close to the bin, my sensor should activate because the bin smells like ass. So if I take it out and just deal with that problem later, the air should be much cleaner and my sensor opens.
it actually does a surprisingly good job of closing my nose. Like if I try to exhale really hard, I can feel that in my eyeball. Like that's how much pressure I have to put into it.
So it's actually surprisingly effective.
And that's really just a handful of ways I envision people using these in their day-to-day lives. If you have any other ideas for scenarios that you think these would be useful, please do leave them in the comments below. If you'd like to make one of these yourselves, all of the links you need are right below the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on next week's live stream. Goodbye.
It is with a heavy heart that I must confess I was the one who farted on the bus. I am deeply and sincerely sorry to all of those who were affected. It will happen again.